Yeah, we came back live because it was a bunch of stuff we wanted to discuss, as well as our connection was a little bit janky. But hopefully we back because I'm quite sure Dara had much to say and with other things she wanted to discuss. One of the things I know, Dara, that is a major pet peeve, or should I say, a plight of yours, uh, is trying to get the black family back together again. Uh, what do you say about that? What's that? Is that like something that's your journey? That's your mission or something?
So for me especially, I truly believe in the reunification of the black family. And what I mean by the reunification of the black family, for me, it's um, the black male and the black female. We see so many different images pertaining to what family looks like. And I get it and I support it and I'm an ally, but we have shied away from what the black family is or what I want the black family to look like. Let me just make it personal. And no one wants to speak on that anymore, which is the black male and the black female in the house. I'm sorry to hear background noise. That's my daughter crumbling, eating cookies.
Are we okay with that? So what do you think of some of the pitfalls why we don't see that black family image? Maybe that the Huxtables, so to say. Why we don't? Why? What are some of the things why we don't see that image?
I'm not really sure. I don't know what happened or what the disconnect was, or why that image is no longer portrayed, or why it's not a positive image. So I follow a lot of not YouTube, Instagram. Um, I'm at a loss of words for that. I follow a lot on Instagram, and it's the black events and what black love looks like, stuff like that, where they have begun the journey work regarding re reestablishing what the black family or black loves look like, right? So for me, I was just speaking to my daughter about it as well. Another piece of me, I know I speak upon the women empowerment and the healing of the woman, but in my discussions and my talk with women, I always say that mental health is very important. So not just mental health for women, but mental health for the black man. That's very important. You can't say I want to have a black family and you're the only one getting help with your issues or your past trauma. You expect the black family really to be reunited if you're the only one healed in the situation. So you're supposed to just like what, not on his past traumas or the things that made him who he is. So I'm big on healing for the whole family, everyone, and we all have traumas that we heal from. So a major piece for me in the healing and the reunification is working on and healing of the past traumas for the family, male and female.
One of the questions that I posed in the Facebook group was, what did more damage to the black and Latino family? Was it welfare or drugs? What would you say to that question?
Hmm. Was it welfare or was it drugs? Do I have to choose? They both were damaging.
No, your answer is your answer.
I believe they both were damaging, and have long lasting effects to the family. Let me say this: I was somewhere in a meeting, and um, one provider in this meeting was a representative of the system. And what I mean by the system is they were a part of Medicaid welfare, right? And so we were discussing some things, and she goes, well, does he do this and does he do that? Well, then if he's not doing that, then you need to take him out. And I was like, Like, so just the setup, he was like, well, if he doesn't do this, then we have to take the medication. If he's not doing that, then we have to. And just the setup of the system, it's it's set up to automatically remove the man from the family. Automatically. If he's not doing this, you're totally overlooking all the other things that that man can be or will be providing for the family. Just the presence of that man alone says a lot. But because he's not doing these things, you want to take away one of the means that he has to help his family. Now, this brother wasn't selling drugs or doing any of those things. He was down there asking for help because we all need help. But because he missed a meeting or he missed this, you know, all the things that they set you up in the system to do, you got to jump through hoops to get the little $2 in welfare. You understand what I'm telling you? So because he might have missed a meeting or something, or you know what I'm saying, she was like, well, if he don't make the next meeting, we got to take it. I was like, sis, like, really? Like, you know what I'm saying? Reach out to him, find out why he missed. You can't automatically assume he was lazy or he was this. Well, she shouldn't even have him in a home anyway. Why? Just because two people are together means what? Like, you want him out of the house so she can get your help? No, two people, they still probably need help. So just that image alone, just that says a lot to the black man. Automatically. It says so, it's profound. I don't even want you in the system to get the help. You can't even be here for us to help her.
So you think that like we dealing with the mental health that a lot of times mental health is not talked about amongst the black men as much as it's talked about the black women?
It is not. It is not. How many brothers you know talk about going to see a therapist? It ain't even talked about amongst the sisters. That if my man is going to seek help, that's a good thing. It's not talked about. They don't encourage it. Why? Why? Because mental health only comes from us. No, we all have past traumas. We all have something to deal with, right? So as a black man in today's society, we already know that you are the most feared. Yes, we are the most unprotected. I get it. I know the quote, right? But my job as a woman is also to help you with your traumas and you to help me with mine. This is not no one-sided thing. So if we decided to get together, you must know that I have trauma and you have trauma, man. We both have traumas. So you need the help just as much as I do. I'm not gonna ever frown or look down at a black man and say, "Now I want to see a therapist. Like I had some stuff I need to talk about." Perfect. Now, what was your results? What did that look like for you? How
Mm.
do you feel after that?
What do you think, Dara? What do you think is the causes of so much division, far as men versus women? You see a lot of this even on social media. It's always, if you talk to some women, it's always the men, the men, the men, the men. Then if you look at some guys' posts with brothers that comment, it's always the women, the women, the women. What do you think some of the causes and roots to that is? And nobody looks at themselves and says, you know what? I messed up. Ain't got nothing to do with what she got going on. That was a good life experience. It's always I'm gonna blame this guy or I'm blaming the opposite sex for me not being happy. What do you think some of the causes to that is?
Perspective and accountability. That's simple for me. Perspective and accountability. It's all in how a person looks at the experience and whether or not they're going to own their part of the fuck up. And I mean fuck up good, bad, or indifferent, right? So for me, the perspective would be, of course, you're going to be hurt and angry that some things that you thought or you wanted to last did not. But if you look at everything as a lesson and looking at and changing your perspective comes with growth. I don't care how old you are. You could be 60 years old and your perspective still can be bitter because Raheem left you at when you was 22. You understand? So it comes from growth. It comes from maturity. It comes from a personal choice because we all have choices. For me, it's all about choosing. If you can enter and look at yourself and what you've done, because at the end of the day, you can't change nobody but yourself. And how you see that, that's going to change how how you walk and handle yourself accordingly. So for me, every man didn't do me wrong. Every brother didn't do me wrong. Every brother ain't a dog. Notice I'm saying brother, and I know exactly what I'm saying. Every brother didn't do me wrong. Every brother ain't a dog. Every brother ain't a deadbeat. Every brother, I don't say all men. I don't. I've had some men that want no cussing. I've had some, but I've also had some really good brothers, and things just didn't work out. Like we just didn't vibe. So the person that's blaming all of them or everything, what have they done? What self work have they done on themselves? You can't blame everybody. You ain't even date everybody. It's 3.5 billion people. I,
So
that's
they'll blame the whole gene pool, like it's all men. It's all men. It's all men.
all it's all men or all women. But those type of people, I look at them and not what they're saying. And I just wonder what type of self work have they done. Now, don't get it twisted. I am no guru or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I don't have no license. I'm not a licensed therapist. However, I believe in accountability. So if you ever come to any of my seminars or panel discussions or anything or have a conversation with me, I teach accountability. Work on you because you can't change nobody else. What she or he going to do, you can't control, but you can control how you react. Work on you. Period.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is, like you said, is it, we blame so quickly. I mean, we all been through situations and we all been through relationships. I think all of it is all a life experience. I'm just amazed at how many people, even in a casual conversation,
Mm-hmm.
they'll just be like, "Oh, it's the guys, it's the guys, it's the guys." And with females, I mean, the males, it's the women are this, the women are that, and it's so much generalization that
It is.
you allow yourself, for those that people that say that and that may be single at the time, that I believe that's one of the roots of why they're single. And this is my personal opinion, because they're so busy generalizing instead of internalizing what's going on with themselves, that they're allowing themselves to take a group of people that may be good for them out of it because they're too busy generalizing. No, the men, 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 the women, the women, the women. I mean, and it gets to the point where it becomes redundant to the. But
tune them out.
what do you say about the agenda to emasculate your brothers, your men?
Who's doing the emasculating? Not that it's right or wrong, but like I said, I always look at the message. So who's doing the emasculating? Are we talking about the sisters doing it? Are we talking about the non-melanated people doing it? Or are we
No,
talking about brothers doing it? So who's the messenger? Who's
I
doing the
I won't even say it's. I think it's more of an agenda. I don't know if it's coming from non-melanin. It's more of an agenda. I think that people are finding themselves having to emasculate themselves to fit in a way. I really believe a lot of people are doing it. I really believe that.
Okay, so help me understand before I comment. So when you say emasculating themselves, what do you mean by that?
Not displaying no manhood. I mean, you can
Um,
have emotion. You can have emotion is part of manhood. Like
right.
we discussed it last week in one of my shows, but I believe that a lot of men don't know how to be men no more. I mean,
Well,
they're doing things contrary to being manly. Like what the way that we conduct ourselves. When you dealing with some guy, you be like, he ain't
so
moving right. He coming off kind of crazy.
I
You be
get it,
like,
and I understand. But my question to you or my response to you is will be the same that I tell my daughter. Then for me, who taught him how to be the man? Where did he learn it from?
well, that's a big part of what's going on too. It's not
I
being a lot of times it's not being learned.
It is not. So just because I had a man or a male in my house does not mean that this man taught me how to be a man, right? What he was doing in the house could have been something that I didn't want to participate in. So I learned how to be a man from watching the guy across the street or my neighbor or my uncle or my cousin. They taught me how to be a man.
So he's going to learn it from somewhere. He's
You
definitely
learn
going
it
to learn it from
or
somewhere.
TV.
Yeah.
You learned from somewhere. He learned how to be that part of him from somewhere. Now, yes, as you get older, you should, change and evolve and all of those things. But essentially, what he was taught was those behaviors. So, is he really emasculating himself? Is my question, or he's just truly being what he grew up to be, or what he learned to be?
Mm, that's a different perspective.
I always do different perspectives. That's just who I am.
Oh, that's a different
So I always
perspective.
look at backstory simply because, like everyone says, let's take the female. Oh, she been a hoe. Like she when she was younger, she was a hoe, or she's not a lady, or she's not this. And I said, oh, someone taught her how to be that. She could have associated being a lady with Miss Robinson from across the street, where every Friday Miss Robinson had a different man. So for her, when Miss Robinson came outside, Miss Robinson dressed to the gods, yes, but Miss Robinson had a different man every Friday. So that's being a lady. How you going to tell her she's not a lady? She learned it from Miss Robinson. Now, as she grows older, the imagery is going to change. I want to be more like this. I'm gonna take some of this out and put some of this in and those things. But she learned that from somewhere. No, it didn't come from her mother, but she learned it. It's a learned behavior. I learned how to be an asshole from my father.
Do you think that the men in your life support you enough?
Oh, you got real personal there.
I mean, even on the level that me and you are just friends. Do you think the men support you as a woman? Do you think the black man support the black woman enough?
Are we generalizing or
We
are
we
we talking?
generalize it and being specific.
All right. So first, let me address the generalization. Do I believe that black men are supportive of the black woman? That's a very, very, very multi-layered question. But I'm going to have to go with my initial response of no. I don't. I think that they don't come to our defense quick enough. I don't think they come to our defense um, as loud as the black woman defends him. No, I don't. However, I have seen where black men have supported and defended their own woman. They may not do it for the overall community, but I have witnessed some very good brothers defend me, their sister, on a more personal level. Um, Me personally, I'm going to defend the black man publicly at all cost. I know I'm not going to get that back. I already know that. I understand that, and I'm comfortable with that. However, that's not going to deter me from defending the black man. I think that's the best creation the creator ever created, and I'm going to defend it, just like I defend my sisters. Now, for me personally, the men in my life, do they support me? I'm going to say yes. I have some very good brothers in my life, in my circle, supporting me. You being one of them, right? You always call and say, um, let me add this or that, or I have another brother of mine that we've been friends for over 30 years, Lot. He does We Buy Black New Jersey. He supports me. The guy that I'm seeing supports me. But also I'm an only child, so my father supports me blindly. So I have some very good brothers. So they all, for me, they go against what society says a black man does. So I'm going to always be like, nope, because I got some good brothers in my life. No, I don't support that. I don't believe that. I got some good brothers in my life. So that's just me. Every sister not gonna have that experience, unfortunately.
That
They're traumatized
question
black men.
that question segues into my next question.
Okay.
The Snoop Gail King situation.
Mm,
Um, I personally saw and witnessed that when Gail King made her statements to Lisa Leslie, I believe it was more black women that got at Gail King than it was black men.
hmm
And then when Snoop said what he said, I think it kind of put a lot of people in the middle because of the language that he used.
Right.
I think that a lot of people feel as though he was right with saying what he said, but when he used the B word, it was like, ah, you use that word. Like, why do you call it that? That's like a no no for black women.
Right.
How do you feel that scenario showed support or didn't show support for our people?
Well, so for me, the Gail King interview, I didn't watch the whole interview. Of course, I just watched the snippet, as most of us did. And I was, child, I was very disgusted by Gail's behavior. I was completely disgusted. You hear me? Because your journalistic ethics should have been, if you asked the question and she answered it, you should have moved on. Meaning, that's my friend, I don't want to talk about it. As a journalist, you should have moved on, and I'm no journalist. She gave you the answer. Now, whether you wanted that answer or it was right or wrong for you, the answer was given. You should not have kept trying to dig and dig and dig. So Gail was wrong for that. That's number one. Number two, I find it very interesting that her and her best friend, um, they're doing a lot of digging and interviews regarding my brothers, right? So they did one. They want to talk about Bill Cosby. They want to talk about R. Kelly. They want to talk about Kobe, but they ain't said nothing about their white counterparts. Not one thing. Nothing. They ain't said nothing about none of them. So for me, that made me give Gail the, yeah, I can't really rock with you no more on that. You or your best friend. So I understood Snoop's response. Um, However, it was a conversation that I had with my cousin when I said, when she said to me publicly, I'm gonna always support my sisters. I'm not going to ever degrade my sister in the presence of a non-melanated person. I'm going to take my sister behind the scenes and rip her new asshole. You understand? In public, I'm not going to be like, you wasn't right, FUB, da 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 da, while Becky behind me like, get her. I'm not going to do that. Because Becky ain't going to ever be like, yes, you got her. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pull my sister in the back and be like, you was dead wrong. I'm not going to ever disrespect or degrade no brother or no sister in the presence of the white man or the white female. So Snoop, I understood what he was doing in essence, but he should not have used the word preference. And unfortunately, we black people, we passionate. You know what I'm saying? We get caught up in our words. So I don't know. I don't really know. I haven't really processed how I feel about what he said. I get it, but it was like, you know what I'm saying, Snoop, you should have did it a different way, like, or not use that word, just been like, you was wrong. You know what I'm saying? You don't do that, Gail, talking about my friend. So I ain't really processed that one yet. I'm still like on the fence.
Yeah, I mean, dealing with them, I think it's a lot of layers dealing with those two, Oprah and Gail. I personally believe that they really haven't changed. This is who they've been. This is who she built a career off of. Um, Anybody that used to watch her shows knew how she felt about the culture then, and then
Mm,
certain things happened, and then she kind of like changed up. Michael Jackson was one of her quote unquote best friends, and she was behind this documentary that turned out to be a basic lie on his legacy. So I think this is something that needs to be really talked about, and it's being talked about. This might have really destroyed their careers. Actually, talking about a dead man's legacy and bringing up questions that just really wasn't
she
hoop, as
destroyed
they
her
say. I can't hear you, Dara.
she destroyed her legacy with whom?
Oh, this is something. Yeah, this is
I
that's what I mean. It's a
oh,
whole yeah, it's all types of layers. We could probably have about 20 shows on her.
I agree. I
So
agree.
in reestablishing the black family, I gave a title for our second part of
I
our
see.
conversation.
I
When
see.
when you when you're addressing the illnesses, what would you say would be the first thing we need to do? You said acknowledging that we have issues and dealing with mental health and so forth. So what are some of the steps that you would say towards the healing process?
Well, first and foremost, the biggest step in any form of healing or recovery is acknowledging, because do you know how many people don't believe that there's something wrong? Because when you say there's something wrong, people get defensive, like ain't nothing wrong with me. They think that they're a bad person, or they've made bad decisions, or no. When someone, well, I guess when someone like me say what's wrong, I'm referring to the traumas that have happened in your life that made you act the way that you're acting. I'm referring to your life's experiences that have got you to this point. So what's wrong? Is it some unsettling issue or some unsettling experience you need to revisit, face, and go on? There's so many people that don't want to acknowledge that. Right? There's so many females that don't want to acknowledge that. So when you think about the females that don't want to acknowledge it, could you imagine? Now we got the man, right? I'm the provider, I'm the king, I'm the all these things that we've given him now. He's this person. He doesn't want to even acknowledge, because if I acknowledge that, something must be wrong, or I'm going to be shamed, or I can't take care of my family now, or all of those things. So you have to truly first get someone to acknowledge, you know what? I'm really upset at the fact that, my father left. I'm upset at that. Like, that fucked me up. I'm upset that my father left my mother. I'm upset that when my father left my mother made me the head of the house, or the man of the house, and I was 12. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Do you
All of
think
that
that
shit.
I'm gonna ask you? Do you think that okay, he's acknowledging to his woman that he's upset.
Right,
He's acknowledging that his ego might be fractured. Do you
right.
think? Do you think that by him acknowledging that these things are fractured, do you think that he don't want to show her that point, that vulnerability?
Yeah, because why? Did she not present herself in the form that you can be vulnerable to me?
And
So
that's
everyone's in
that's a whole nother
superficial.
layer as well.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many layers to this, but I believe that when people are truly honest with themselves, at what point in life you are at, right? So some years back, I wouldn't have been ready to be in no form of a relationship with anybody, because, I was living my best life, or so I thought, right? So then I started talking to the guy that I'm talking to, and he was like, in order for us to be completely together, you got some healing to do. And I was offended. I was like, "What you mean?" He was like, "No, you got some work to do. If this gonna be long term, you got some work to do." And I was offended, because
Mm.
for me, I had got over the fact that my husband left me. I had got over all of these things, and I'm good. I raised my daughter by myself. She doing good. I'm doing all of these things. And he was like, "So why every time somebody mentions her father, that's a trigger? Why?"
But you saying you healed.
I'm healed. So if that happens for me, I know it's happening for my brother. And I don't want people to get stuck there. Go deal with it, work through it, and then move on. Because I've realized that some brothers, and we can't just say they still mad at Rakiba, who broke his heart in junior year, and now he like F all females. Nah, that shit deeper. Sometimes it's deeper than the fact that I had to grow up, or I took care of my brothers and sisters, and I wasn't really able to live out my 20s like I'm supposed to live out. So I want to do it now. Or I wasn't really able to enjoy life because I had all these responsibilities. All of that is a factor.
I mean, I believe personally that I've seen that I've lived that a lot of times people don't have a conventional childhood, and that will affect them tremendously. Like they may lack emotion. They may not be able to,
Serious.
they may just be like, okay, and they may turn out to be great providers for
Yep.
their families, but just because they missed some of that childhood, that growth, that period of messing up, that
Or
they,
whatever.
yeah,
The connection between the mother, the connection between the whatever the trauma was. If a person, I know we're specifically talking about my brothers, but if a person is not um open and willing or able to acknowledge that, then he'll forever bury that, and he'll forever just be a great provider. And I'm just good. My husband's a great provider. You ever heard that? My husband's a great provider.
But
I'm
it's always a but after.
right. So I be sitting there like, and for some women that's fine, because you know why? They're not healed and all they need is a great provider. But for a female that's looking for something more, a female that's wanting more, and it doesn't necessarily have to be marriage, you know what I'm saying? We could just be great companions or whatever. So for a female that wants more, just being a great provider is not it. It has to go more. In order for you to elevate, you got to heal from what you did. Simple.
This,
It's simple for me.
this is why I guess this answers my previous question from when we went live earlier. Why we're getting so much relationship questions in the group is because a lot of us, we either may or may not be in relationships, and a lot of us is quote unquote looking for that perfect relationship, and we're not. We may be in relationships and not happy, or don't be
Right.
in a relationship and want that perfect relationship. Knowing you deal, knowing you're knowing you're not perfect, you have imperfections, and now you're gonna bring another imperfect people person in your circumference. Like, I mean,
But
and we may be arguing over whether the toilet tissue is over or under.
something simple. Like, oh
Yeah,
my God, you got the goddamn sneakers at the door again. I'm just
yeah.
saying, sometimes it's a trigger for people. But no, what I'm saying is, so you have to define what's perfect, right? You can't say, I want this perfect man, because my perfect man for me may not be what your perfect for you is. You understand? So I need someone that's going to complement my life as it is right now. So I may not want a man who can pay all my bills or who can do all of these things. And for some females, they're gonna be like, well, he ain't a man if he ain't paying your bills. No, baby, I can pay my own bills. I don't want that. That's not the type of man that I want. So I want a man that's going to compliment me in ways that I feel as though I can't do it on my own. I go out on dates. I pay my own bills. I pay my own. You understand what I'm saying? But I want somebody sometimes to come home and be like, how was your day? So perfect for me is not perfect for someone else. So when people say, or people be like, you looking for the perfect relationship, I'm looking for the perfect relationship for me, or the perfect mate for me, but that looks different for you. So you can't get perfect of anything if you haven't acknowledged your imperfections. I
Anybody,
know.
anybody watching live, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as like on the Facebook page, and don't forget you can ask questions while we got Dara with us. We don't have a time limit right now. Our connection is a lot better than earlier, so we
I
came
can't
back
say
live to
no. I don't know
not
what
you,
they ask.
Dara. I'll let you know if anybody has any questions. And
Oh,
like I said, if in
in order
order,
for you to reestablish the black family, you definitely you need healing of self. Healing of self.
mm. So do you think that a lot of people are getting into unhealthy situations because they're not healthy?
Oh. So you, my belief, I'm going to start with that. My belief is you attract people where you are energetically, right? So you if you are in your mind, you're okay, but emotionally and spiritually you are not really ready to partake in what you believe to be healthy, you're going to attract someone at your same energetic level, right? So I'm good, right? Superficially on the surface, I'm good. All is well. I got my, all of these things. But subconsciously and energetically, there's still some things that's just not working. So when I look for a mate, or I look for a partner, he's going to come in and we're going to operate at the same frequency. We're going to vibrate on the same level. He ain't really whole and complete either. You understand? You're going to attract where you are. So you may look good and feel good, but there's still some underlying issues that aren't healed. So when you say they're in unhealthy relationships, it may not be unhealthy in the way that we think unhealthy. It could just be they're vibing on an energetic level and that person is vibing on the same frequency and that's what they got.
Not, you know what made me ask you that is because a lot of times you hear it, you hear it. Oh, I got involved with this female, or I got involved with this male, and all the warning signs were there. Well, if there was warning signs, why'd you go past them? This is what I say to myself. So they say all the warning signs was there, but I didn't listen. And then they'll start to the point beating themselves up and being like, I'm so stupid. Why I didn't see it before? And it's like they still did it. Like, what do you think was the reason why they still did it? Like, they missed all those warning signs.
So what I'm going to always take it back to self. And what you believe was a warning sign, I saw as something different, right? Simply because what I'm looking for or what I'm yearning or desiring is being met at that time. So when he came in or when she came in, I was looking for somebody to just have casual conversation with, maybe go out on Fridays or whatever. This gonna be casual. I ain't looking for nothing serious, right? So they came in and they fulfilled that void of what I thought I was lacking. So when I can't get them, it's not an immediate thing because right now I'm just looking or they just feeling this void. So it may not have been a warning sign or a red flag because I just was looking for this at the time. But as things progress, then you start to pay attention to what you're saying is a warning sign. But at the moment, depending on where I am, I may not have wanted or been privy to or paid attention to, what he was giving off because I really only wanted to see him on Fridays. I don't really pay attention no more until I can't get him on a Friday. And now it's like, well, where he at? Or where's she at? You know what I'm saying? Or this was supposed to be this and now it's not. So that means that, it evolved into something different. But at the beginning, you have to pay attention to yourself. So what is it that you are looking for? Whether you know what it is or not, you may not be looking for a relationship in your mind initially. I don't really want to be with nobody, but then they come in and they operate and they fill the void that you didn't think needed to be filled, and now it evolves. You understand?
Yeah.
So
I had a
I don't,
question for you.
I don't know. I look at everything differently. So, I guess warning signs. I don't know. I look at it as perspectives and filling voids
I got a
for me.
question. I got a question for you from Facebook.
Really.
Someone said, "Have we, as a community culture of people, become too selfish to be in relationships, or are we too individualistic in our ideals, so-called values, to be able to accept people?"
I believe both are true. I believe both are true, 100%. But let's be honest, we're all selfish. Everybody's selfish. When somebody gets so offended when you be like, you so selfish. No, you're selfish too. Because you want what you want when you want it, whatever that looks like for you. Right? So I only want to be bothered when I want to be bothered. People can outwardly say that, or they're going to show it in their actions. That is their time. That is their space. They're being selfish. But are they really being selfish? Because right now you're saying, I want to see you. It's good for me. That's
Mm,
selfish. It may not be good for them, but it's good for me. So we're everyone's selfish. It's the compromising part of the selfishness that allows you to be in someone else's space or relationship. We're all individuals. Everybody has their own individualistic ideas. But can your ideas actually coincide with someone else's ideology, but also know and understand that their ideologies is built upon their life's experiences? Not saying that it can't be changed, but you can't get mad at somebody if that's how they were raised or that's what they think, or you understand? I think Kay said it best. We have to respectfully agree to disagree, but that don't mean you're wrong. It just means that I don't agree with that because my experiences cultivated my ideologies. That's all that means. We're all individuals and people, and we're all selfish. But does someone want to be willing to allow someone else's selfishness to coexist in their space?
Mm.
It's a choice. You don't have to.
Okay, okay, okay. So I'm gonna ask you because
Oh
we're
Lord.
we're we're 40 minutes in,
Are
and
we?
not that it's a time limit or anything. Before my next question, I'm gonna ask you. I have two questions coming up.
Really?
Everybody always laugh because I always start my little. I always throw a wrench in the game during the interview, but that's just who I am. Scale of 1 to 10. What is the state of the black family?
Scale of 1 to 10. The state of the black family is a hard 6.
Okay, that was my
Hard,
wrench right there. Hard six.
hard 6.
Going up, or going down?
I believe it's going up in a positive direction.
Great. Next
And
question.
okay, this the lightning round. I'm
No,
sorry.
no,
Go
no,
ahead.
no, no. That was my personal questions. But you was about to say something about that. You believe is the arrow is facing up?
I I hope I hope that the fad of being the black family lasts for years. Lasts for years is what I was going to say. Cause initially we wasn't into this, like, but now everything is black love is dope and the black woman is this and the black king and all of these things, and everybody is capitalizing off of it. So I just hope that the fad lasts long enough that the family is reunified. That's all I was gonna say.
I do agree with that last part. When you say capitalizing, commercialization and capitalization of our culture is major,
Facts.
and I think we do it more than, as we like to say, culture vultures. We're vultures of
Facts.
our own culture in a sense. So
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. I think I say more black love is dope and black men is this shirts within the last 2 years than I've ever seen in all my life.
Well,
It's not a bad thing. I'm just saying. I know you jumping on a bandwagon, and I don't know if you even really truly believe that black love is dope. You understand?
yeah.
But you want a t-shirt and sell it.
Mm.
So I just hope that the fad lasts long enough that the black family can actually reunify and heal and stay together.
Pay attention, viewers. Pay attention. One question from a good friend of mine: would you compromise your happiness for the success of the relationship?
Would you compromise your happiness for the success of a relationship? All right. So for me, I'm a big words person, right? So I have to take each word from the question. Compromise, you're going to compromise whether you believe you're doing it or not. You're compromising. You're going to do some give and take. I'm doing give and take with my daughter. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to always get what I want. She's not going to always get what she wants. So compromise is inevitable in every ship, every friendship, relationship, courtship situation. You're compromising, right? The happiness part is what's really getting me. Would you compromise your happiness for what? What was the last part?
For the
For the
success of the
success.
relationship.
Uh, so happiness. Ugh, that's I don't want to put my foot in my mouth for later on, you know. Happiness is a temporary state of mind. So it's a temporary state of mind, right? Because I can be happy, right? It's an emotion, right? Emotions goes up and down. So happiness for me, I may compromise my happiness at this very moment for the success of my partner at in this moment. I may do that because it's an emotional thing. It's emotions, right? Back and forth, up and down. I like you today, I don't like you tomorrow. It's because happiness is simply a state of mind. So I may compromise in this moment, and I know all my sisters gonna be like, "Oh, I can't believe she." No, if you pay attention to what I'm saying, it's simply right now a state of mind. I'm gonna compromise no matter what. I'm compromising. I have to compromise because I'm not going to always get what I want. I have to compromise. He has to get what he wants. I have to get what I want. That's the compromise. So in this moment, whatever that moment is, I may need to compromise my happiness for the long-term goals. I may need to. So that makes the relationship successful. So,
One of the biggest things that on a personal level that I learned about compromising is there is this book that I've been reading. Probably read the book about 10 times,
mm,
and it's called The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. And
mm,
he speaks about the habit basically of coexisting with your family or whatever. And
mhm,
compromising is it's an amazing thing because the more that you compromise and give of yourself, the more, as we say, and he doesn't say this in the book, I'm just using his theory and putting it into practice, the more
okay.
the universe will send back to you. I
I like
mean,
that.
the more you give of yourself, the more you're going to get. I mean, some people may say it's a blessing. Some people may say it's the energy. Some people may say, as we say, the universe going to bring back to you. But I'm a firm
Mm,
believer in, like, just be someone that's very selfless. I mean,
mhm,
we all have our own things that drive us to take care of us, but the more you give of ourselves, and it's funny because actually our mutual friend that introduced me and Dara, uh, she's one of them type of people that she's always shows up for people to the
right.
detriment where she even gets physically sick. And
Facts.
I mean, one thing I can say about it is that she tries to show up for everybody she messes with. Like
Every
it may even get on people's nerves and get on our nerves, but we love her to death. But she definitely tries to show up for
every day.
everybody all the time. She'll go to 10. She don't even be feeling well. She'll get to 10 events. Like, I'm here.
Facts.
I ain't gonna be
Facts.
here for an hour, but I'm
If
here.
you stay for 15 minutes,
Yeah. And
there.
since we started the Let's Talk Facebook page, she's been very supportive as well as a lot of other people. But I wanted to mention that because I definitely see it.
Right.
We got another
So
question. We got two
what
more questions, Derek.
yes. Yes. So I will compromise my happiness for the success.
We got
Yes.
another one. Should we try and build change the ideals of what relationship are as we have learned? Because our community seems to have a lot of issues regarding the institution of marriage and what it takes to be in them for the long term. I'm talking decades, not just a few years.
Should we change? Say the question again. What?
Should we try and build change the ideals of what relationships are as we have learned? That's the first part of the question.
Okay. So I believe that that's what's happening now. I believe that people are doing that. If you talk to specific people, they're like, no, I'm good with not being married, right? I'm good with being someone's longtime girlfriend, or I'm good with being. So they're actually changing that imagery or that um, those ideologies that we were essentially raised with, because they're making it more personal for them. I know a lot of females that were married and now divorced, and they're saying, if I don't ever get remarried again, I'm good. But that doesn't mean I don't want a companion. That doesn't mean I don't want a mate. That's not what that means. It just means that I don't want the legalization of my companionship. I don't need it. So they are changing now. Will they last? I hope so, because for me, relationships are personal. I can't base what I want or what you want in a relationship, because your own individuality. Here we go back to the individual. So I believe it is changing. What was the second part
The
again?
second part maybe just was a statement, but it says because our community seems to have a lot of issues regarding the institution of marriage and what it takes to be in them for long term. I'm
I
talking
agree.
I'm talking decades, not just a few years.
But I agree with that, because it took me a long time to reprogram myself, in a sense, from what I thought relationship and marriage was. I I made it my business when I got married the first time. I'm only have one husband because nobody in my family was married. right? They were married and divorced. So that's not going to be me. And that became my mission. And I'd be goddamned if I didn't do exactly what they did because I was supposed to, or they said that I needed to. And I was like, but for me, for Dira, that's not what that looks like. I don't necessarily want that. Right? So I'm divorced, and if I don't ever get remarried again, I'm good with that because I want somebody that's going to be, and I always say this to anybody that I talk to about marriage or relationships. I want someone committed to the commitment. That's a big difference. I don't want you to be committed to me, right? Because if you're committed to me, today I'm gonna piss you the hell off. Tomorrow I'm gonna love on you, but if you still in the state of I pissed you off, you might leave. But if you're committed to the commitment, saying I know it's gonna be good days and bad days, and it's gonna be some ugly days, but I'm committed to making this work or having long-term goals with her or something long-term, you're gonna know that those days are coming. And
Committed, committed to the commitment. Very good
commit to the
slogan.
commitment.
Committed to the
That's what.
commitment. The
No,
next,
let
the
me let
next,
me patent that first.
yeah,
Tell you
you
people
gotta
don't get it
patent it
right.
quick because
Tag me if they do.
they will commercialize it very quick. That's gonna be on a T-shirt at the pop up tomorrow.
Somebody better
Okay,
give me my royalties.
we got another question, and
Okay.
this question it may take 4 or 5 shows. There, my buddy, my partner, he went there. Do you think couples' finances should be together or separate?
Separate.
Mm, just like that,
Just like that.
plain
What
and
I mean by
simple.
hold on. Let me explain first. What I mean by separate is this. I believe that there should be one account for household necessities. After that, he's allowed to do what he needs to do with his money. I'm allowed to do what I need to do for my money. So I don't particularly believe in 50-50, 20-40. I believe that we're going to take all the household bills. That's rent, utilities, car note, car insurance, all of these things. And let's just say that that comes up to $5,000 a month. And he says to me, it's $5,000 a month, Dira. I only want you to contribute 1,500. I don't know if that's 80-20, 30. I don't know. But he says for the month, contribute $1,500. That's all you need to do. And that I'll take care of the balance. Once I put my $1,500 in, I'm free to do with the remainder of my monthly income as I see fit. If I decide to pay extra for the cable or pay extra for this, or if I decide to take my whole damn paycheck and go to Miami, I've contribute to the household needs. That's what I mean by separate.
And it's interesting. Uh, I'm gonna ask my opinion of that question. Will be do what works for you.
Do what
Everybody
works.
everybody's relationship and situation is different.
Right.
Um, I'm of the belief that may seem a little old school, where the man tries to take care of everything that he possibly can. Some people aren't with that belief, and I get it. One thing that I would suggest that people do is even if y'all do have separate accounts, allow that person to have access to that account in case something happens. In a couple of shows in the future, we're going to try to discuss finances and understanding, like if something happens to your mate, because if you're not legally married in some states and something happens to your mate, then you got those siblings getting involved,
I no,
and so this is very important that finances and having something established is set early,
agree.
because if you're in certain states, you don't even have rights to the body if something happens to your mate.
That's a
If y'all
fact.
y'all been boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever together for 15, 20 years, that if something
Right.
physically happens to them, if you're not, I know in New Jersey, I don't think that you have a right to the body. I
You
think
don't.
they will tell you you're not considered next to kin.
That's a
So
fact.
hopefully we will have future shows on this issue. But this is a very serious issue that I think that couples need to take serious regarding where they live at, and establishing some things, because we know in the black family that death and weddings bring about a bunch of ugliness in the family. So this is
Us.
important.
But as long as two grown people are going to have that conversation prior to, especially two grown people that have their own shit. You understand? So like for me right now, me and the guy that I talk to, we both have children. So I need you to know that my daughter's the only child. She's getting everything. But that doesn't mean you won't have access to what we built together. But
One
that's
of
a conversation you need to have up front.
one of
Discuss that.
one of our Facebook users. See, on Facebook, unless you allow them to put your name in the chat, I don't know who it is. So who's asking the questions until after the show? But one of our Facebook users said, "I'm going through that now. No siblings, just kids, and I'm her next to kin."
Um, no siblings, just kids. But if she doesn't have any siblings and she has kids, the kids are the next of kin.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
you
I
don't have
mean,
any right. She would need to write that out.
yeah,
Like she needs to
I'm
get
suggesting that whoever the Facebook user is right now to really write that stuff out. I mean, get something, get it probated. If you're in New Jersey, get it probated because it's
get
useless on a
now
piece of paper. Yeah, like
and get
do
it
it
now.
Monday. Do it Monday.
Seriously.
Oh, this person said he's widowed. He or she is widowed.
But he has children.
I don't know who
It
it is.
goes
Somebody said it's me, Quinn. I don't know who that is. I'm trying to guess who it is. If you could explain it to me, I mean, the way you detailed the question, we could probably talk offline. But if you're doing it online, I can't really understand the question.
sorry, my phone fell.
Oh,
But to this
no, I know
person,
who it is. I know who it is now.
okay,
Yeah, he's going through
the,
that. It just happened. It just happened, dear. This is
the
recent.
per-
The person just died.
so the I hope you was good to the kids because the
Yeah,
kids get
yeah,
unless they wrote.
yeah. He's going. He. It's my cousin.
Oh,
He's going through it now, and hopefully everything will work out. This is something that just, you know, dear, it just happened, and this is like when we talk about reestablishing the black family. This is something that we got to talk about. We have to talk about it while we're here. So
right.
when situations like this happen, we won't be in a situation where really we don't even have no rights with the burial aspect.
None,
I mean,
none.
so for those that's listening on YouTube and Facebook, I would suggest that we try to have these difficult conversations soon and urgent because they're very important.
Black people don't like to talk about death. Everybody's afraid to die. So
Yeah,
therefore they talk about what they need to do to
it's funny because I call myself trying to do some research, and I got this thing called the five wishes here, everybody, and it's the five wishes that you need to take care of before you die. And no, me and Dira did not have to talk about this, but these are the things that some people don't want to be on a machine if something
right.
happens. Some people may want to be on a machine. Some
I
people
told
have some
all
people
this
have a will. A will is different than having power of attorney. Some
absolutely.
people, you might not live in New Jersey, so everything has to be probated. You might live in the Commonwealth. So in the Commonwealth, if you've been with somebody for a certain amount of time, that's your wife. So or
Yep.
husband. So this is something that everybody needs to encourage everybody in the black family. And
Talk about it though.
off the air, me and Dara, when we was just talking, we were even talking about life insurance.
Yep.
And this is something that we need to be mindful of, everybody. So if there's any more questions in Facebook or YouTube, we'll have Dara with us for a few more. Um, I really appreciate you, Dara, and I'm glad you decided
Thank you.
to. We decided to finish having our discussion. I think this turned out a little bit better than our first discussion.
Yes, it did. I appreciate you. Thank you. As
So, so
are
you,
you?
so when I asked you, So when I asked you the question about that arrow is going up, not trying to go there, but I have to go there.
Go there. It's okay.
Let's say
Go.
let's say from what we know about the early '60s,
Okay.
where was that scale 1 to 10?
I'm gonna give it from the early '60s. I'm gonna give it a strong 8.5 because that was coming into the times where everybody was pro-black or Muslim. Coming into that, everyone was proud, and the black man was this and the black man was that. So then,
So
of course, there was a decline. But back in that time, the black family was unified, whether they
so
were standing in separate
so
rooms, but they was together.
so that 60-year period from the
Hmm.
'60s to 2020, is it a correlation with 60 years? It don't seem like it, right? It seemed like just yesterday, but even though we're not 60 babies, but when you look at it, do you feel like it's a correlation? It's like a revival of what was going on in the '60s.
That is my hope. I promise you. That is my hope because everyone says that history repeats itself. Yes. So that is my hope. I want everyone to revolutionize not only for black civil rights and black social unjust and all of those things, but revolutionize behind the unification of the black family. Please, let's have a revolution on that. Why not? We can have revolutions on just about everything. There's a revolution behind black hair. Let's have a revolution behind the
Yeah.
reunification of
What
black
what
family.
they, oh yes, it's like Team Natural versus Team Per.
I,
Don't get me started. I don't open up a can of worms. Don't get me started, right?
natural if you wear your hair like mine, but you got some people that don't get a perm, but they get it straight and with the silk press, so they not natural. I'm like, child.
You know,
So I'm
it's funny. It's funny that we even talk about that because my grandmother had a twin sister, identical twin sister, and they were known because they used to wear gold wigs, right? But
it.
but look, when I was a kid and we heard the stories, I used to laugh. But nowadays, a lot of females may wear wig or piece, whatever. You can wear what you want to wear. It's up to me. But it's just amazing how history does repeat itself,
No,
and it is like a pride, a black pride, a black consciousness revolution going on. And my biggest fear about it is, I like to say, and you might have heard me say it to you before, it's like wokeness is being for sale now. And it kind of bothers me because it's like people will use consciousness as a way of talking down to somebody who's quote unquote not conscious. So, that's our private conversation. That
I was.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So like I said, everybody on Facebook, YouTube, like, subscribe to the page. Just how we keep it going. Also, Dira has a page. It's called Dira Ruby Cox, where she chronicled her journey while she was single and on these single sites. She would chronicleize her dates and talk about her dates specifically. Hopefully, she will revive her page back and continue talking about her page because she took a hiatus from her page. She probably didn't even know I was going to bring it up earlier or tonight.
I was
Also,
going to. So you. So I was no seriously. Y'all think I should bring that back?
yeah, because I think you have a lot to offer. Not only just on my platform, but you have your own platform and you have a lot to offer, Darren. That's why you're a guest on the show.
Oh
You
wow.
have a lot to
You
offer. I ain't gonna just be speaking highly on the private level. I'm gonna speak highly in public too. You know how that
I,
goes.
I
But
know.
any
I saw.
but anyway, like for those that don't know as well, Dira also has her own, I would say, label, and it's called Why Not. She does passport covers, luggage bag identification, a lot of stuff. She's on Instagram as well as Facebook. Um, you can look under why not, why with a Y, not why with a W. So there is all over the place. Somebody said, I wish I could have got in this conversation. Trust me, it will be more conversations about reestablishing the black family and relationships because it seems that this is what a lot of people like to talk about. However, we want to talk about healing first,
Yeah,
then
first.
establishing the
Yes.
relationship and the family aspect. Dara, do
First.
you have any words you'd like to leave off us with?
Um, Essentially, before I go and I end out, I want to say thank you so much. I greatly appreciate the opportunity that you have given me to just to use the platform to express my thoughts regarding the situation and the matter. Um, but for the most part, what I will say is take part in the healing. Don't just say you want it. Take part in the healing. Healing for so many people means so many different things, and it can, yes, be a scary journey. But like I stated before, I'm no licensed clinician or therapist or anything like that. But I assure you, what's on the other side of the healing is nothing but happiness and joy for self, because self, no one's going to love you better than you love yourself, and once you love self, all other love will come. So take part in active healing.
And what was your phrase you coined during the show? Compromise your
That the people want to take from you.
yeah.
I want I want you to be committed to the commitment.
Committed to the commitment. If anybody
Committed.
chooses to get any merch with that, you can holler at me and then I'll holler at Dara and we'll all get paid from this merch. I'm glad
That's
everybody could join us tonight. Thanks everybody, man. Glad y'all can spend y'all Saturday night with us and have a blessed night.
y'all so much. Peace.